Hi, this is Gilgamesh. I'm going to be talking about, because we have the first part of the new film, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, out. I wanted to go through the movies, each of these movies, and tell you, like, with the first one, what my problem was, what I liked about it, you know. And so, what we have is, with the first movie, Danny Elfman, give him credit, he does a great job with the score. He absolutely literally captures what made the the score and everything, and we have a great cast here. You have Tom Cruise as Ethan Hunt. You have John Voight playing Jim Phillips, who, by the way, Peter Graves played, didn't come in until the second season of the TV series. And you have Emmanuel Beert as Claire Phillips. She's Jim's wife. Ving Rhames plays Luther. Stickle. He was basically kicked out of IMF and brought back when everything in the story goes to shit. And a mission. Emilio Estevez in this, but he's uncredited in the movie. Yeah, Emilio Estevez is in the beginning of this movie, and they don't give him credit for the movie. I mean, they put him here, but it literally says he's unaccredited. What? That doesn't make any fucking sense. And of course, you have Vanessa Redgrave as this illegal arms dealer, Max, and oh my god, everybody's so good in this. Everybody gives. The problem I have with the movie is the moment we find out that Phillips didn't, when we find out that Phillips is alive. He faked his death, and it turns out he's the mole that's basically planning to hand up this file of all the IMF to Max, played by Vanessa Redgrave. Like I said, great cast. You have John Reno in this. You have Henry Shemi. I think that's how you pronounce his name. I've seen him in other stuff. He's really solid as this asshole director of IMF who thinks Ethan is a traitor and everything when it turns out he isn't. Oh yeah, they set up Ethan, his mother, to basically make him look like that's how good Phillips was at setting Ethan up. That, by the time you get to the twist, which I said sucks donkey dicks when it's revealed that Phillips faked his death because he's a mole. That's my one problem. It doesn't seem like a long film, and it plays really well. You can go on Paramount Plus to watch this. All 6 of the films that are that have been out, we're all the way up to Downfall. You can watch all the movies there and on Paramount Plus. They're there. And then you can go see the new one in theaters, which I've heard is really good. That being said, the first one, solid movie. Danny Elfman's score, it's really good. Now we're going to get to the second one. I overall like this film because I think that what John Woo did, and I like his style of filmmaking, it's good. He does a good job here. The problem I have with it is the score is really not very good. Yeah, and this was Ian McKellen. Yes, apparently it was off of the part of, okay. But it's the score, and it's done by, oh my god. It's like a rock. And this is the big problem with the whole movie is the freaking why they went with this more rock instead of the classic theme, and it doesn't work. It's one of the big problems with the movie is that I like the movie overall. I think that Doug Ray Scott's a great as Sean Ambrose. He's a great, former rogue, who basically, he has his reasons for doing this. I'm not going to go too much into it. To ruin the film, I recommend seeing it. Everybody's good in this movie. The score's the biggest problem. And there's a lot, I know people criticize this movie for the Matrix type stuff, but that wasn't up to John Woo. That was really up to the studio wanted, because The Matrix came out, it was a huge hit, so they said, you have to do these things to make it like The Matrix. I hate that. When the studios tell a director, this is how we want you to film the movie, want you to put these slow-mo camera turns and everything, because The Matrix was such a huge fucking movie. By the way, that slow-mo shit and everything was stolen from Blade. Did it way before The Matrix came along. Yeah. But here's the thing, yeah, Tom Cruise is like, he's sort of like the head, he grew his hair out, it's longer. Douglas Scott's great as the villain. The former, as Ambrose. You have a good cast here. Now, without giving it, I'd recommend seeing it if just the scores is not very good. That's the music. Let's look at, I forget who it was. Here it is. The music of this, the original, is great. Hans Zimmer completely fucks it up here. He does. He puts this more rock theme to the whole thing, and it just doesn't work. And of course, you had Metallica, doing the "I Disappear." It's like, fuck off. The song's terrible, but I like the movie. I think that it's a good. It has some things that work. Now I'm gonna get to the third film, Mission Impossible 3, which I'm gonna say this: the cast is good. Nothing against the cast. The cast is likable. They're really good at. But the problem is, it's directed by Abrams, and it literally sucks because they put Ethan. He gets in a relationship with Michelle Monaghan. She plays his fiance. She's a nurse. Then I guess they get married. They say fiance here. By the time we get to Fallout, she's supposedly his ex-wife. That's what they mention. Good cast here. The problem is, it's the story. If you haven't seen Her Majesty's Secret Service, that's the one with George Lazenby where he gets married and they kill his wife off. That became canon because after that, when Roger Moore, the first thing they do is have him stand over his dead wife's grave. So yes, Bond gets married and then they kill his wife off. Here, the whole point is spies, they can't have that in real life. And that's why the whole relationship is never going to work out. He's hiding things from her. This is why the whole idea of putting him in a relationship can never work out. You can't. It's a good cast. Take nothing away from this cast because they're, if it were directed and written by a better person, I think the music, I'm trying to remember, they brought back, I don't remember much about it. I think the score is kind of, I forget it. I haven't seen this movie in a long time, so I'm not, like I said, great cast. It's just, you have a director who is just not very good at directing movies. Abrams sucks on all levels, and then you have this shit-for-brains idiot who doesn't know how to write anything. Go look at Star Trek, Destiny. This is Alex Kurtzman. He works for Bad Robot. He fucking was put in charge of the Star Trek stuff, and he sucks. And this is another idiot who doesn't know how to write. That's what the problem with Abrams. He has shitty writers, and he's not a good director. He cannot direct characters, cannot develop them, and this is what ultimately makes this movie suck. You want to like this movie, but the problem is, it's a terrible movie because Abrams cannot direct characters. Everybody who's watched a movie he's directed says this. He really cannot. But here's a good thing. By the time we get to Mission Impossible 4, we get Simon Pegg comes in. The fourth film is when Ghost Protocol is when you finally get Simon Pegg in. It takes 4 movies to bring him in. Like I said, cast is really, really solid. Of course, Tom Cruise. You have Big Rames comes back. You bring in, Simon Pegg. Jeremy Renner comes in for this one. The next one, he's not a terrible actor. His personality is kind of, but Michael Nyqvist, if you don't know who that is, he's a Swedish actor who happened to be in The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, the Swedish film that got remade Like I said, cast here is good for what we get, and like I said, he plays a great villain in the movie. It's far better than 3. Um, like I said, you can look at this cast. I'm not going deeply into it because you know, they say unaccredited cameo because he's not in the movie that long. Yeah, they say I hate when they do this. And here's Michelle Monaghan. They literally put her in as Ethan's wife, but unaccredited. I hate it when you okay, you're a returning character and you're just not going to make them, you know. And this movie is good. It is. Like each one, I'm going through, and let's look at a couple of things like the music. I don't know who does the score here because Danny Elfman did the first one. Okay, I think the score here is actually better. Like I said, the score on 2 is absolutely atrocious. It's one of the biggest problems I have with the movie. Not the performances, not the direction by John Woo. Forget the fucking Matrix shit. Those aren't his doing in the studio. But the score here, I think, if I remember right, was actually really good. And of course, Tom Cruise does carry this stuff on his back. He's the star. I mean, yeah, and they went to Dubai. They went all over the world to film this movie. I mean, he's hanging outside of that, yeah. And when you see, if you can find the footage of how they got that crane to the top of this building in Dubai, for him to do this, because those gloves actually are real that he used in the movie, but they have him wear a harness with the crane on top of the building. This building is tall, really tall. So I saw footage of how they got the crane to the top of that building, and it's insane how they got it up there. And if it wasn't for that, there's times where he actually loses it, like in reality, he would have fallen to his death. Whoops. Shit. Sorry. Yeah. So we had that, and then we get this one. This is the second movie with Rogue Nation. And we're going to go down here to the cast, because I like looking at the cast to show you what you're dealing with. Like I said, Jeremy Renner's okay. You have Alec Baldwin playing sort of the boss. We have, of course, Tom Cruise. You have Simon Pegg, Ving Rhames, and then you have Rebecca Ferguson. This is the first one, I think this is the first one that she comes into. I think I'll look up at the other one. This is where we get Sean. Yes, it is, because Sean Harris, who plays Lane, Solomon Lane, she was right here. She's basically undercover for the Syndicate. This is the first time we hear about them. And she's basically kind of working for this guy, undercover, working for him as the leader of the Syndicate. And basically because of certain things, she cannot go back home, ironically. Yeah, and so the follow-up to this is Downfall. We'll get to that. But yeah, this movie deals with the Syndicate. The next one is basically a follow-up to that, where, and you have Alec Baldwin, before he lost his mind and killed a woman, played the director of the CIA. Yeah. And it's good. And of course, Tom Cruise has said, I don't know which movie it was, this one or the one before, I think it was the one before, is where he said, if I'm not willing to do the stunt, then I'm not going to let anybody else do it. But essentially he wanted to protect stunt people from risking their lives for dangerous stunts. So he figured if he wasn't willing to risk his life, nobody would do the stunt. So he actually protects the stunt people by not putting them in danger. Which, if you know, stunt people have died while making movies. Died during the making of a film, because some of these stunts are really dangerous. And so, yeah, and she's basically, I think she's Swedish playing a British former MI, as it says right here. Like I said, good movie. As far as villains go, Sean Harris, he's probably the one weak spot about this. When you go from Michael Rehnquist in the last one to this, he doesn't have the same weight as a character, and that's yeah, that's part of the problem. Now we can look at the score. Who does the score? We know Danny Elfman did it, so it's. I don't know who this is, but if I remember right, the composition is really actually good, and it works for the movie. Like I said, Mission Impossible 2 had probably the worst score. Hans Zimmerman, he's good, except for when it comes to the French horns he loves to use. But yeah, like I said, the cast here is good. I've enjoyed, except for 3, because it's badly written and it's not the actors. The actors are solid actors. Like I said about 3, but enough said about that. I'm not going to go into the plot or anything. I'm just giving you a few, is that this movie, overall, the pacing is really good. 3, like I said, 3 had the problem with pacing too. Abrams sucks at pacing his movies. Now we get the last one. This one, before, I haven't seen the newest one. So this is Fallout. I just recently watched it. And I'm going to give you something. I'm going to say it. It's actually good. And Henry Cavill's actually good for what he plays in the movie. He, and this is, you probably have seen the movie. If you have, I'll give you a spoiler. He's the villain of the movie. Not really hard to see if he's actually the villain. Well, it's him and Angela Bassett as the head of the director of the CIA. I'll say this: she's a bitch in the movie. But of course, we have a couple of people coming back. We have Tom Cruise, of course, Ving Rhames, Simon Pegg, Rebecca Ferguson. They all returned from previous movies. Come here. We also have Alec Baldwin. He comes back as the director of the CIA. Wait. Oh, she's the new director. He's now in charge. He's been, becomes the new IMF secretary. Yeah. And Wes Bentley's in this. He's Tom Cruise's, Ethan's ex-wife's new husband. It's actually really well done. And like I said, Sean Harris is kind of, his character, Solomon Lane, once again, he's better in this one than he was in the previous one. But it's really Henry Cavill. Some reason when you get the right director, they can direct even Henry Cavill to play a decent role. And you got this Vanessa Kirby, who is the White Widow, arms dealer. God damn, is she good. She's so fantastic in this movie that, like I said, her character is so well written that when you think Ethan knows what's going on, she flips the script on him and says, no, now it's going to cost you more. And basically the plot is to get these bombs, this petroleum, basically prevent these bombs from being, there's 3 of them. They're basically, the plutonium is in these spheres that they can basically create bombs from that would be devastating. Beyond that, it's a good movie, and it has the signature, things I liked. I remember the score, the music. Who did the score here? I don't know who this is. He's a Scottish composer. The score is good. The stunt work is solid. Tom Cruise. Like I said, this guy he sucks right now. But like I said, the cast is solid. It's a good follow-up to the last one, And I haven't seen the new one. I just wanted to cover this real quick about how some of the things, when people gripe about Mission Impossible 2, I get it, the music, the Matrix stuff. It's not the best part. Those are things John Woo didn't have any control over. That's what the studio wanted. But when you look at the rest of it, Doug Ray Scott, his villain character is really good. It's 3 that has all the problems. It's a boring film, first of all. That's another problem with it, is the movie is just, I could not have given 2 shits about the plot. It was a boring mess of a movie, and that's the problem with Abrams. He does not know how to direct characters. Go look at any movie he actually directs. They're shit. Look at his Star Trek films. They're absolutely abysmal. he fucked up Star Trek so bad that I don't, and then he left Alex Kurtzman from Bad Robot in charge of fucking, for Paramount, and it's only gotten worse. And no, I know people saw Picard season 3 and said, oh, it's finally good. I ain't seen that shit. I know I could see it because I pay for Paramount Plus, but I have no intention of watching shit. I'm not gonna sit there. This is what bothers me about the whole idea that, oh, well, we have Star Trek. Yeah, I have the fucking movies. I can go through all of them, and I probably will do a video about the Star Trek film, my favorite one. But here, I haven't, like I said, I've been going through again and watching these movies. Like, they're on Paramount Plus, so you can go back and watch them. Like I said, 3 is my least favorite. 1 had the problem, like I said, was the turning Phillips into a villain. And spoiler, he kills his wife in the movie. Yeah, because she doesn't want him shooting Ethan. And basically it's revealed that he's alive, and then he shoots his wife and then tries to get away. There's a big, he's not going to survive. And that's another, unfortunately, as you could tell when they did the stunt work on the train, you could tell that wasn't John Voight, it was the stuntman. As far as Tom Cruise, I don't really know if that, it's obvious he had a stuntman, because at this point he wasn't really into doing his own stunts. But it's, like I said, you expect the ending, the bad guy dies, good guy wins. That's typical, of these type of action films, is that you have the MacGuffin, which is, either, the bad guy wants to blow something up, he's trying to get your attention. It's typical of these movies. There's, it's always what I like what Bowler said about The Rise of Skywalker was the MacGuffin. So we're going to say that each one of these, there's a, with the exception of 3, each of them deals with a MacGuffin. The first one, it's the MIF list. The second one, it's a virus. The third one, don't care. Fourth is, I think it had to do with the bomb or something. And the fifth one, this one right here, if I remember, I know this one was about a bomb. Yeah. This one was, I'm trying to remember what exactly, I forgot what but I've seen it, but I forgot what he was trying to do what they were trying to do with the syndicate and everything. But I know in the next one, the one before the new one, it was a bomb, 3 bombs that they had to try to stop from them using. So they're good except for 3. So I wanted to cover that real quick, give you a few, like I said, casts have always been really good. The score in 2, it sucks ass. Hans Zimmer should not have been, Danny Elfman should have been brought back to keep that score. Like I said, the other movies, the scores are fine. It's just 3 sucks. 2 sucks. Its score is atrocious. I can't remember 3 because the movie's boring and makes no sense. It's just a terrible film. Fuck Abrams. Yeah, I just wanted to cover that real quick. This is Gilgamesh. I will talk to you later. Bye.